Hey, um, this is crazy, but I'm starting to do what I've been talking about for a long time. Um, I'm mother of four. My oldest is going to be 22 in September. My second to the oldest will be 20 in October. I then again started to try to have a new family, and his name is Dylan. He passed away at 2 weeks old. It was very unfortunate, obviously. I don't believe I grieved over the death of him, and the horrible, tragic way that he died was his dad basically put him in bed and slept on top of him. So in the morning when he woke up, obviously he had already been suffocated for some time, and for him to give him mouth to mouth, blood came out of his nose. My children that were 10 and 12 at the time, they witnessed this, and forever had been just ripped and torn apart. That's something that is imprinted in your mind for the rest of your life. I checked out. I tried to do the best I could. I was studying for my broker's license. I had my own property management company at the time. I was very successful. With the death of a child, it just ruins you. It either ruins you completely and makes you comatose forever, makes you want to be offed, you want to off yourself, or you use drugs to cope with it. I chose alcohol, and I hit my bottom 5 months later when I hit a tree, and my car blew into flames. I woke up under a CAT scan with a handcuff on, unaware of what had happened, and knew that it had been bad. I was lucky enough to get 4 months house arrest, and I think subconsciously, because Dylan was still so fresh and my baby is still gone, I mean, for crying out, he was 2 weeks old, and I still had milk in my breast, and I still had stitches in my vagina. Like, that's big time. It's not supposed to happen. So, the man that I married and had Dylan with was the love of my life, and you don't get that. A lot of people don't even get a chance to even feel what it's like to be in love, and that I have to say was my honest to God soulmate. But you either can make it work and continue on to try, or like he did, he took off, and he's Jehovah Witness. I'm not saying I know everything about Jehovah Witness and their religion, but I do know that they treated me poorly and they cut me out of their lives, and basically he moved on, married another girl named say my name, and have 2 kids, and they're doing great. But I'm sure he's still dealing with it in his own way as well. um, So, subconsciously, I needed to fill that void, and I got pregnant. I had sex with somebody that I found online. I know this sounds terrible. And I became pregnant, and didn't feel comfortable with him, and didn't feel compatible with him. He was different. And when you meet somebody and you share, like, certain things that have happened to you in your past, and you kind of like bond. We bonded, and he shared with me that he had been molested when he was young, and I didn't really think twice about it. I just saw how sad and upset he was, and he had already he had a son at the time that was about 7, and long story short, became pregnant a month, found out a month later, and let him know, and he was all gung ho about getting a house and making this work, but I didn't feel the same feelings. I wasn't going to go after being married again, and everything I'd gone through to pretending that let's make this work because I don't feel a certain way. I chose to go the different route. So I gave birth and I raised him myself. He was amazing, amazing. Um, his name's Blake, and he was born on the 9th of July. So this month he just turned 7. I had him basically, he was potty trained by one and a half. Okay, that's amazing. He was riding a bike with no train wheels by 2.5. It takes you're 7 by the time I think train wheels come off. I haven't really studied it, but I'm pretty sure you're a lot older. He was very, very, so very smart. Um, he came to me at 4 years old after a camping trip with his dad, because his dad came into his life when he was about 18 months old, and we started to slowly do, the visitation. Um, I have documentation that shows one of the first overnights, he came home and he jumped like 7 feet up in the air after I put him in a warm bathtub. That scared the living shit out of me. I grabbed Destin and squirted it in my hand and it cupped his bottom, and I could feel the open gapiness. Okay, I prayed that night. Oh my God, please don't let this happen. Please make this just be my head, playing tricks on me. Took him to the pediatrician the next morning. The pediatrician says, you need to go and you need to call the detectives. We're going to work with them. You need to go down to the Bear Safe House, which means buzzed into this children's area on lockdown. He's on all fours. He's getting swabbed. DNA is being taken and pictures and the whole 9 yards. He's crying. I'm holding his hand. He's 2 years old. I had the information, the documentation that stated that I had custody of him until this was, obviously figured out, and the report came back. Well, the report comes back. I'm like trying crazy to get a hold of this detective that is in control of this, and he says nonchalantly, "Oh yeah, it's normal." What's normal? What is normal? This is not normal. I'm at that courthouse right now, and he says to me, "Well, your son just took a very large bowel movement, and that's it. It tore his anus." That didn't sit right with me. I knew my gut was telling me this is horrible, and I said to him, "Well, what's going to happen if I don't turn him over?" He said, "You'll go to jail." So basically, I was forced, and I was made to turn my child back over to his dad, even though everything in my body said, "Don't do it, don't do it." A lot of things happened between that point and then leading up into when he was 4. When he was 4 years old, behavior patterns were horrible. He was regressing as far as his name writing and coloring, and the same picture that he was drawing over and over and over again. He would stick his tongue in my mouth. He said that he was a lizard. There was a lot of behavior. He started to talk about magic white pee-pee. Now, this is something that is not expected to hear from your 4-year-old. He threw up pubic hair the day he came home, and it took me hours to calm him down, as opposed to, normally an hour or so before we're back to normal, and, because it was 1 week on, 1 week off. This specific time was so bad. He threw up pubic hair. It was in a pedicure bowl of water because I was trying to figure out how to calm him down, and I thought, well, we'll turn the kitchen into a salon, which I did. And it was clear water. I went to get bubbles, and that's when he threw up. It was a clump of hair. I knew what it was. I don't even know how. I scooped it up, put it off to the side, and I calmed him down, and I said, does this happen a lot? And he nodded his head. Okay, now keep in mind he's 4. And I said, how? What? And he started talking, and he said, Daddy makes me and brother special shakes with special weeds, and these special weeds he gets from, and I said, well, where did they come from? And he's 4, again, very smart. He didn't talk. He pointed to his chest and his private area. That freaked me out so bad that when he started talking about magic white pee-pee and how he spits in his butt, poops in his butt, pees in his butt, he has a big thumb that goes way down his throat, and it throws up and dies. This stuff should not. I was flipping out. I was shaking so bad. So by the time I got my phone and started pressing record to record him, I was like, so tell mommy again about the magic white pee-pee. Basically, I took him to the ER that night. They looked at him. They couldn't find anything. He wasn't speaking. CPS came the next morning. He wasn't speaking yet. I was told to get a restraining order and fill it out, take it in, which I did. It was denied by the court, and it said denied, go to family court ex parte, which is a no-no. Like that's on Kraken. Like they are like hearing after hearing after hearing. If you don't have a $75,000 lawyer, you are screwed. And I had no idea, and I wish I would have listened to some of the people that told me what to do. Nothing at the time, but I could not put my hands and hold my boy and hand him back over to the father, the molester, this person who's hurting my son. Our job as mothers is to protect our babies, and that's what I was trying to do. The commissioner ordered me to turn him over twice. And I disobeyed those court orders because nobody was listening to me. Nobody was checking my son. Nobody was listening to me. And it says everywhere, when you walk into crisis centers, when you walk into medical offices, when you go anywhere, anytime, you listen to your child, you believe your child, and you get help from law enforcement. Well, law enforcement arrested me at a therapy appointment, the same place where CPS told me to go and get help. Now, why is that? I watched the lady who was there chant with my boy back and forth. She was on her knees, he was on his knees. They were doing some chanting, crazy stuff I've never even seen before in my life. And they were on the same page. Like, she was getting it out of him. Like, they were like, hoo, 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 hoo. I mean, if I had to say what I thought it was, it looked to me like a circle jerk. That's what it could have seemed like. She looked at the pictures. She confirmed, yes, he had been molested. I mean, they all knew what was going on, but still they called the police, and they had me arrested there. They ripped me out from him. They gave him to the cops. They ripped him off the police legs. And, of course, the dad was there, and he'd been 2 weeks, waiting and very, very pissed. You can imagine, like, across the street from my house, like, waiting out, staking out, trying to get his kid back. And here I am, keeping him from him. So he didn't believe in air conditioning. He had a 2.5 hour ride home, and I could not close my eyes. I'm in the back of the cop car. I'm screaming. I'm crying. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you can't do this. You can't do this. And then they had a little meeting. You're just being held at this time. You're not being booked yet. So after they deliberated for some time, they ended up booking me, and then they released me. I got bailed out. They released me when I went in for my arraignment. I wasn't on the paperwork. Why is that? I said, why is that? Why am I not on the paperwork? Oh, the DA said it was dismissed. Dismissed? Wow. And I had a stupid lawyer at the time who I spent $10,000 on for nothing. I mean, $55 for an email, $55 for a call. Like, this guy, I mean, I'm telling you, it's hands and hands. They were all in this, and I don't know how much money that this father paid for, but he paid a lot. Because in a matter of months, I had lost complete soul, whole, physical, and soul and physical custody of my son. He just turned 7. I haven't seen him in 2 years. This is the first time I'm talking about it. This is not going to be the last time you see me. I'm just getting started. I have some ideas. I don't believe in the legal way anymore because it doesn't work. I should have visitation, and I don't. And how the hell am I supposed to see him when he's 3,000 miles away? Yeah, he got a move away order too. So not only am I owe him $10,000 for falsely accusing him, and I go on and on. It's ridiculous. I owe child support so much money. And this is what I'm talking about. This stuff is not okay at all. And this is my first kind of me telling the story. It hurts so bad to wake up every morning and to revisit like how I feel. I hate it. I can't stand. I can't breathe. And the only thing that like keeps me okay is like Xanax, but they won't prescribe me any Xanax around here. It's like benzos are impossible to get. So I am reaching out. I am telling my story, and I am hoping to catch the media. I know I will, and I know that there's other people like you out there, and I need to hear back from you because now is the time. I can't sit around and have pity parties anymore. I can't try to figure out why, what went wrong, how could they do this. It's time to get going and to actually use my words, turn them into action, and make this happen. I'm going to do a cross-country trip. He's in Florida. I'm in California. I'm leaving next week. I will be filming and blogging every day. I do cell phones, so I do the Obama government cell phones. So I'm going to be stopping at every food bank. Everybody's going to know where I am because I'm going to be blogging about this. I have friends on radio stations that will also let people know where I'm at. And I want to meet you if you are going through the same thing, how you've dealt with it, where you're at in the process. How can we bond together to get our children back? And that's basically what it stems down to. This was my first video, and I'm speechless because I just want to hold him again. I mean, I feel empty, I'm broken, and I'm sick to to my stomach because this is wrong. Wrong. I want to hear from you. Let me know. Send me your information. Let's talk about it.